I'll pass it on over to James.
Yeah, thanks. And Eric, I can't remember if you said it or not, but you have alarm.com as well with that system?
Ooh, James, I caught every other word on that one. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, sorry. Did you say you also have alarm.com integrated with Caseta?
I do, yes, sir. Yeah, so that's what I was referring to, my integration with my scenes that I've incorporated with my alarm.com account. Tying in, it's just a simple system. I got a Pico and a dimmer switch that I have on a scene at my front door. But the other benefit of with Lutron is being that it's RF, the speed in which it actually reacts with your alarm.com account. I mean, there's sometimes I think by the time I hit arm stay that light turns off before I even hit the button. That's how fast it is. So the speed compared to the Z-Wave switches is dramatically much quicker, obviously. So I really thoroughly enjoy it in my home.
Oh yeah, that's super important with Delta lag. Yeah, that's what we kind of see sometimes with the integration. You can have lags, and that just contributes to customer callbacks and things like that. So that's really good that that it works really fast, because I think that's a big thing for dealers to not have customers calling them back because it's a little slow. But anyways, well, I'm going to jump into kind of a little bit about Lutron and the systems that we offer, and then alarm.com folks are going to well, Jacob's going to go through. We're going to actually show you guys programming over webinar, which is kind of interesting. We can do that over computers and video, and then Matt and Jacob are going to hand off the system actually online and show you the systems working. So I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll set up. So here's I'm going to share my screen. Set up here so that way you can. Why I won't go to the presentation mode. Okay, there we go. So yeah, just a little bit about Lutron. Lutron was founded, over 50 years ago. They've been in the business for a long time. All they've really ever done is lighting control. So they really try to focus on solutions for installer and the homeowner to make sure that it's going to work every time. One of the big things, I think it ties back to alarm.com, is that Lutron's always looked at lighting control as a life safety piece, and it's really something that they make sure that they understand that if the lighting doesn't work, that what you're trying to accomplish isn't going to work. So I think there's a lot of things they provide for the security dealer that helps them to reduce callbacks, keep customers happy, and sell more on every project and do it faster. But again, they're pretty much the leader when it comes to lighting control, and they do a lot of different things to make sure that customers taken care of. One of the biggest things I want to point out is 24/7 technical support. So even if the can't get a hold of you, and it's a Lutron issue for whatever reason, maybe it was a lightning strike or something like that, and it wasn't even with the product itself, they can call Lutron and get help. So there's somebody there 24/7, even on Christmas and Thanksgiving, all those days, just to make sure that's a really big piece for Lutron, is to make sure that your customers get somebody they can talk to. And most every other electronics company out there, if you look at most of the time they try to hide their tech support line. They don't even have it out there. And if they do, it's an 8 to 5, Monday through Friday type of thing. So I think that's a big difference. It costs lots of money for them to keep people there 24/7, but they do it because they know it's important. I think one of the biggest things too is just making sure that they are the leader in all the categories for you guys. So as a business partner, they're going to really make sure that they come out with new products and bring those products to the market, so that way you have new things to sell and new solutions to offer your customers throughout the years. And we'll talk a little bit about the smart home. So this is a growing category for sure. And it's one of those things that, everybody talks about over and over and over again, but the average home has 42 light switches and shade fixtures. And this, if you think about that, there's a lot of opportunity monetarily for this. So it's easily able to, you have lots of places that you can put lighting control into a house. So as you walk through the home and you're talking about security, you're passing by opportunities to sell lighting control solutions throughout the house. So that's one thing, is there's lots of money in lighting control. You can also add in the thermostats, door locks, windows, thermostats. You're talking lots and lots of money. So there's a lot of light switches in a home, and so this is a really good way to focus on making more money on each job. I think one of the really good things that Lutron does as well is they work with lots of different companies. So one of the biggest things for them is to make sure that your customers, whatever they have in their house, they're going to be able to work with. They try not to have a closed ecosystem. There's some companies out there that really want you just to sell their products, but when you really think about it, your consumers are mostly going to see stuff on the internet. They're going to want to get products that are going to work in their house that works more for them. And Lutron really works really hard to make sure that works with Alexa, works with Logitech, works with HomeKit, works with Alarm.com, Sonos, Honeywell. You can see the Alarm.com is right here. There's all sorts of different partners that they have. So the good thing about that is it doesn't lock the homeowner into a certain manufacturer, which allows them to have freedom. And really, when you look at it, when you lock people into certain manufacturers, that's when things go obsolete, because their hands are tied with things. Hold on one second.
And James and Jacob, we had a question from Eric. Never mind. He's saying there it is. He was asking about the pyramid slide, so never mind. All good.
Don't worry, Eric. We got you a pyramid slide in here for sure. Can't have a Lutron presentation without one of these. Yeah, and so you can see here, this is, and some folks, I think they don't really know exactly where. Bear with us, we have the kids at home too, so we're doing all this with kids at home. But the Lutron likes these pyramids because it really just shows the different systems and where they kind of fall when it comes to different homeowner income levels. So you have Caseta and then Raw2 Select. So this is just showing you for your middle income folks, Caseta is a really good starter entry level system. And then it kind of goes up to Raw2 Select. And then Radio Route 2, and then Homeworks above that for the uber ultra wealthy clientele. So they really kind of pinpointed the different sectors of the consumer base and made sure they have systems for each one. So kind of gives you an idea where these things lie when it comes to price points and consumer levels. Why are you guys adding smart technology? I think, making the home is becoming more and more obsolete just as things age. This updates the houses, especially from existing homes. I think for you guys too, like if you're promoting lighting control to your customers, your competition really is not doing that. So this helps you differentiate yourself to your customers, because most people are kind of scared of lighting control, but it is something that if you bring it up and talk to homeowners about, they appreciate the fact that you're thinking about the total solution for them and not just looking at security solutions, because lighting is one of the biggest pieces for security as well, making sure things are lit. Cost of technology, I just want to say this real quick. It's just one of those things that I think homeowners like to bite off on small pieces. So they like to bite off on, they can do a small kit with you and then they can add things over time, and it makes it easier financially, and it makes it easier for them to kind of put their toe in the water and then not have to bite off on this whole system all up front. So Lutron's really done a good job of being able to give you a small starter kit to get going with, and then you can expand it from there. So a little bit about smart shades. We're not going to go too much into this, but Lutron also sells smart shades for you guys. So, privacy is a big thing with security as well. So being able to make sure that when you leave your house, you can, if you want to have that nice daylight coming through the house, but you can also hit a button on your alarm.com as you're walking out the door, and it shuts all your shades down and really kind of keeps your privacy. People can't peer in your windows and all that kind of good stuff. So smart shades is a really good way to add security to a system. Smart lighting, and again, I said it earlier, security is one of the biggest things that we sell lighting control from. Just making sure, time clocks is a really good thing. I know through alarm.com you can set up time clocks with your lighting system, and then also giving them that panic button by the bedside. What happens, if somebody breaks into somebody's house, the first thing they do is they reach over and they turn on that lamp. Well, you've basically had, whoever walks in that house, they know where the homeowner is, but they don't know where the intruder is. So giving them a system that allows them to turn on the lights throughout the house with one press of a button, like a panic button or an alarm type button that turns on all lights, really helps, to add security. So this is a really good selling feature of selling lighting control to, with your security systems, is the ability to be able to turn on a button and turn on the lights. And also I know with alarm.com, if the alarm goes off, they can also turn all the lights on as well, which is a really good deterrent to get people out of the house. Once they've broken into the house, you don't have to wait for the cops to show up to get them out of the house. They're going to hightail it really fast as soon as those lights come on. So I'm going to run into designing a system with RAW2 Select. Well, actually, before we do that, I'm going to do a quick deal over Caseta. I've got 2 presentations going on right now, but just a little bit about Caseta. So Caseta is an entry-level system, and it's really kind of geared towards your normal size houses, like your 2,000 to 4,000 square foot homes. Really kind of more of an entry-level type of consumer that's not going to spend a ton of money on lighting control, but they want some nice features. You can add lamp dimmers, you can add regular in-wall dimmers, you can add switches, which would be like on off, like if you have fluorescent lighting, you can't dim it, you would use a switch for that. Shades, so the automated shades will also work with the Caseta system for privacy and light control. And then really the kind of nice thing is that Pico. So adding the Pico into the system really lets the consumer add flexibility to it. They can put these anywhere on the walls. They're battery powered. They last up to 15 years on the battery, and it allows them to put a control where they need it, by the bedside, by the back door, by wherever, to control the entire lighting system. So I'm gonna go through a couple of these slides. This is a really good piece as well to think about, the car visor clip. So you can put this in there. I know in alarm.com you can do geofencing and things like that, but also if they want to have that button in their car, they can put this in their car and use a Pico on their visor and be able to turn their lights on that way. For maybe for older generation, this might be a good solution. And then here's the bridges. So there's 2 different types of bridges. You got the Smart Bridge and the Smart Bridge Pro. The Pro Bridge is really kind of geared towards the professional installer dealer base. So this is really what you would look for. And this is the bridge right here that integrates to alarm.com. So if you're going to sell alarm.com with Caseta, you want to make sure to get the Smart Bridge Pro and your Wave distribution branches. That's really all they're going to carry from a Caseta standpoint. So this is really what you'd be getting if you go to those guys for your bridges. So I'm going to jump over to RAW2 Select. We have a question. Where is it?
No, I'm just pointing out that nobody should be watching Jacob because he's gonna make you dizzy because his camera's moving all around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's hard for me once I'm presenting. It's hard for me to grab the chat up. Yeah, Chris, just let me know if there's a question because I can't see it as I'm presenting.
Yep, no problem. On it.
Okay, so back to the RAW2 Select Presentation. So first, to design a system, it's really pretty simple. You have 3 steps. And I want to make sure to you guys to understand that Lutron really worked hard to make this simple. And we know that lighting control can be a little bit daunting and a little bit something that's, if you haven't done it before, it's something that it might be a little bit scary, but really it shouldn't be. And this is one of the easiest systems to set up with Caseta and Raw2 Select. They're really similar. The difference between Raw2 Select and Caseta is Raw2 Select is a little bit more beefier. You can do more devices. You can add more repeaters. You can do bigger houses. And they have more options when it comes to scene control from the Picos. So it really just depends. I mean, this is more of like probably 2,500 square foot to 4,500, 5,000 square foot, and maybe a higher end customer than a Caseta customer. But they get a little bit more feature benefits with the Raw2 Select. And due to time, I'm not going to go through all those things, but you have a little bit more professional grade devices as well. So it's a different dimmer, a different lamp dimmer, and then more Pico options with the Raw2 Select. So number one, you really just add a main repeater. For most of your applications, one main repeater probably works out just fine. If you're doing just a couple rooms, the one main repeater will do those areas. It's when you start getting into a whole home that you add 4, or you can add up to 4 auxiliary repeaters. But these are, as you add auxiliary repeaters, you just get more real estate within that house that you can work with. Lutron uses a repeater system instead of trying to use a mesh networking system, and it makes it much more reliable. So that way you don't have to go back and you have switches that are falling off the system and things like that. If you've ever worked with Zigbee or Z-Wave, sometimes you have those things fall off the system, or Wi-Fi systems. But with Lutron, they've really made it to where you should never have a device that falls off that system. So here's the devices. So after you get your kind of repeaters laid out, you're going to go into your devices. So Lutron's got dimmers, and then they have switches as well, and then fan controls. So those are your kind of go-to devices. There's a couple of different dimmers that you're going to work with Raw2 Select, the 6ND, and then the new Pro dimmer. Really two go-to kind of dimmers. And then also the switches. So if you have devices that can't be dimmed, like fluorescent lighting, like your garage lighting and things like that, sometimes your outdoor lighting, you'll use a switch. So those are, there's just a couple 3 SKUs there. And then we have fan speed controls as well. So that's going to be able to work with your fans. Definitely in the South, those are big. You're definitely going to have those in the South. Kristen's got one right behind his head. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have your fan controls on there as well. Tabletop lamp dimmers and plug-in lamp dimmers, for different applications when you get into lamps. And then also sensors. So you can have ceiling mount sensors, and this is a wall mount sensor. And then, these can be added into the system as well, especially if you have small children, like I do here that we're trying to deal with. But, they tend to not turn off lights. That's one of the biggest things. We did a job a few years ago, and the homeowner was like, I never go upstairs. My kids live up there, but I want sensors up there because they never turn off the lights. The lights can be on for months. So these are really easy to add. They're wireless, battery-powered sensors. So you don't have to wire for them. And they can turn off lights really easy. They're pretty inexpensive. This is the Pro dimmer, the new Pro dimmer. So the Pro dimmer is really kind of for that all-encompassing solution. It really will allow you to be able to do any load out there. It's a little bit more expensive, but if you're not sure what to specify, if you're not sure about what you're trying to control as far as a lighting control standpoint, the Pro dimmer is the go-to, because it pretty much will do any type of light fixture out there. And you can contact your wave branch. We have a chat, Kristen.
Yep, asking if neutral is optional.
For the Pro dimmer, I'm pretty sure the neutral is optional. I can look that up. We can get that. Jacob, can you just look that up, put that in the chat?
Yeah, it's neutral optional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a new one. Let me get back to here. So, is there another question? For some reason I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen.
Just another comment saying yes, it is, and it's phase selectable also.
Yeah. So you can phase select if you're doing forward phase or reverse phase. And if you're not sure what those are, you have plenty of help, with the Wave guys and with Lutron folks. Just let us know and we can go through that with you. And then Picos, so I'm going to make this pretty quick just because we want to make sure we get through this in time. The entry kitchen, these are Picos that are basically keypads, wireless battery powered keypads you guys can put into systems without running wire and making sure that you have a home automation cable in place. If you're doing existing homes, this makes it really simple. What Lutron did was they looked at all of the different scenes that were created on these systems throughout the years, and these are the most common. And then so for your entry, the home and away, this is a really good go-to keypad that you can put by the back door. And as they walk out the door, they can turn their lights off. And then when they walk in, coming home from work, they can hit home and boom. And these just make sure that they have hard buttons on the wall if they don't have their phone on them or whatever reason. Giving them both options is really, really important. The bedsides are a really good one as well. Sometimes, I have my phone on my bedside every night, but when you're trying to get something turned on really quickly, like your lights or something like that, having this hard button control right there where they can just press it really quick and get your lights on, it's really important. These things are pretty inexpensive. They're $79 retail. So you can add them to systems really inexpensively, and it kind of goes away with all that custom engraving and going back and forth. You can just get them from Wave and install them really quickly and get on with your installation. Kitchen, family room, any room, those you guys can kind of look at those. If you guys are doing more AV installations, these are great. But if you're more security, if you're just really trying to just get a security lighting system in place, the entry and the bedside are really good ones to kind of focus on. So, so Jacob, I think that kind of goes through the Raw 2 Select. Do you guys have any questions right now we want to put up?
I don't have anything in the chat, James.
Okay. Good deal. So I'm going to stop my share and we're going to go into the app demonstration. So Jacob, you can jump on there. Okay.
Alrighty, sounds good. Hey, thanks guys for being with us today. I'm sorry I'm a little all over the place, but I'm calling in on my phone to show you all the app control. So what we're gonna program today is we're gonna program a lamp dimmer, Raw 2 Select lamp dimmer. This works for Radio Raw 2 as well. Just an in-wall dimmer, main repeater, home and away Pico, and then a triathlon shade into our Raw 2 Select app. It's the same exact app that you used with Caseta. So let me share screen. Alrighty, can y'all see my phone?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, so you're gonna go on into the Lutron app. If you are already a Lutron Pro, I think James mentioned it, you're gonna use the contractor mode. In order to qualify for Lutron Pro, that main repeater I showed you, whenever you go to buy one of those, just get with your Wave representative and have them send their Lutron rep that invoice so we can get you signed up for Lutron Pro. Once you're signed up for Lutron Pro, you're going to use contractor mode, which is the third option. Go ahead and click on that and system setup. Once you're in here, you'll add your Lutron account number. That'll be assigned to you when you become Lutron Pro. You enter that account number so that when you're done programming the system, it automatically pings Lutron and tells them how many devices you've installed in the home to give that homeowner an extended year warranty on the devices, and then also gives you 2% back at list price on your Lutron account that you can redeem for points. I'm not a Lutron Pro, unfortunately, so I have to sign in. Alrighty, so we're connecting to the Lutron system right now. I do already have this main repeater online. I have it plugged into the back of a Wi-Fi router. It always has to be plugged in. The main repeater has to be plugged into Wi-Fi, and then your auxiliary repeaters can just be placed throughout the home and plugged into the wall. So to get started here, we're going to go ahead and program our lamp dimmer. So we'll click on the Raw 2 plug-in dimmer switch. It's the fourth one down. Go ahead and click on it, and all you do is you hold down the main button on it for 10 seconds. It usually only takes about 3 seconds. It'll start flashing. It'll go on to your next option, and we'll do this in the living room. Adding that device. The device will flash 3 times, letting you know that that light load has been added to your Lutron system. And then we'll go to add another device. You just repeat this process until all of your devices are installed. So I'm going to hold down on the dimmer. Y'all can't see this, but I'm holding down the dimmer button. It takes me to the next option. We're going to do this in the living room as well. Ceiling light. It'll be our main light. Next, that light flashes 3 times, letting me know that it has been programmed. And then we'll go on over to our shade. So when you're adding shades, you normally can't see the button on it, but whenever you look up underneath the fascia, you'll see the a little shade LED. It's right where that little finger's showing you on there. So you just reach up under there and you hold down the button. It'll flash and your shade will wiggle a little bit, letting you know that it is ready to go. Add that to our room as well. And then our last device will be our home and away Pico. The home and away Pico is really nice because you can put it by your foyer or your entry. And so when that homeowner's leaving, they can just, press home or they can press away. They're cool too because you can put them in your car for your car visor as you're pulling up or leaving your home. You can press whatever scene you want for those home and away buttons. So we're going to hit 2 buttons and then we're going to press and hold the away button on this Pico. And we'll add that to the living room as well. All right, so that's all of our devices added. And now I'll show you how to assign the devices to your home and away buttons on your Pico. So we're in the app right now and it's telling me that my main lights are on, my table lights are on, and my shade is down. That's what I'm seeing in my room. We'll go to our home and away button and we'll edit the device. We'll go to our home button and we'll add which devices we want to be controlled by the home button. Whenever I'm programming, I like to never really put our light load past 90%. The human eye can't really detect if it's past 90% and you're saving your homeowner money. And then we'll do our shades all the way open when you're home. We'll do our away scene. Leaving the house, yeah, it already programs these for you, which is nice. Shade closed, and we'll save that scene as well. And now our keypad has been programmed. So I'll go ahead and show y'all that.
Hey, Jacob, while you're transitioning, Nick asked if there's any estimation on energy savings when you're putting the setting at 90% or less.
It just depends on the type of bulb you have. If you have LED, it's going to be, not a whole lot of energy savings, but if you're using incandescent bulbs, you'll definitely save more. So here's our scene in my room. Here's our shade, our main light, and then our lamp that's controlled by the lamp dimmer. So if you can see this, I'm going to hit home. Lights go on, triathlon shade goes up. giving that homeowner that nice welcome scene and the simplicity of, turning all their lights and opening their shades when they come home. They're leaving their home, they head away, shade goes down, lights go on or go off, and just like that, you're done. That took me maybe 5 or 6 minutes to program 4 devices and create 2 scenes. So now I'm going to hand this over to Matt, and he's going to show you how to add your Lutron system into your alarm.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob.
Yep.
So what we're going to do now is kind of go into the alarm.com customer site first and show you kind of how easy and how simple it integrates. So if you guys can't see this, let me know. If you can, then we're good. So this is my current home system. Nothing crazy. I live in a small apartment. So we've got one Z-Wave lamp module here, thermostat panel, nothing crazy. And we have a few preset scenes with alarm.com and a couple that we can add to in a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is on the dealer site, we want to search for the customer you're going to be adding this to. So go into my customer ID, and there's a couple of things you have to note. If they have Interactive Plus, Interactive Gold, Commercial Plus, all of those service packages capable of supporting Lutron, but we have to actually edit the service package to make sure that it's highlighted there. So I added this yesterday testing with Jacob, but just because I have lights and thermostats doesn't mean it's automatically going to support Lutron integration. So you have to make sure that's checked off. On Interactive Gold, it's a free add-on. Not sure on the actual price if we're going to just a basic interactive package. And from there, it's pretty simple. We go to equipment. It pops up with a new Lutron equipment tab. So with this, we can add Caseta SmartBridge Pro or RAW2 Select, which is kind of what we already went through using that same app that Jacob showed. That's the app for Caseta or RAW2 Select. And it's super simple to add this in. It gives us a step-by-step. Since Jacob already did everything in the app, we can skip a lot of these preliminary steps. And we would immediately click on step 5 here. Step 5 here will actually have us sign in to the same Lutron account from the dealer site. But since we already associated these, all it would ask for is username and password, nothing else, nothing more. Since they're already associated, we don't need to do that step again. We did a lot of trial and error yesterday. And so once you put in that username, password, all we have to do is authorize it to work with our alarm.com system. And we could see our notification here at the top, successfully associated with the account. It might take a few minutes to update. So we'll check back on equipment in just a second to see, and then we'll refresh my home system as well. And hopefully all of that stuff will show up. Now there's a couple of things to note. One is that currently, if you have been installing any Lutron devices this way, you might notice that scenes are automatically imported. That's something that in the near future won't be a possibility anymore. So with this system, alarm.com internal accounts, typically we get some features a little ahead of time. So the scenes that Jacob programmed actually won't be available on my system once we import them or import the devices. So it's one thing to note is that if you're used to that happening in the near future, it's going to be your Pico remote has its scenes, your keypad has its scenes, and then your alarm.com has its scenes separate. And we're just waiting for some devices to upload here. Save SmartBridge, state okay. Let's refresh our customer site. Still waiting on it to load in. Okay, cool. We're getting the equipment to load in now. In the meantime, if we have any questions, perfect opportunity.
Nope, there's nothing in the chat, Matt.
Nothing in the chat. Awesome.
No question.
So as we're waiting on this, just want to make sure everything is going all right. It did take a few minutes yesterday for us to update. Nothing yet in our lights card. So I'll talk about a couple of features while we're waiting on this to add in. Recently, we integrated a specific shade card to alarm.com. Previously, shades were housed under the light card, which for a lot of purposes was fine. But now if you only have Lutron shade control and you want to integrate that to alarm.com, then it's going to be really easy to identify and see where that's housed. It's a small change, but it's very pleasing one for a lot of people. And now we can see that these devices are slowly being added in back to my Empower device list. So we have our table lamp, main light, shade, and the 2-button keypad Jacob put in. So if I go back to my home system here, we now have a couple of different lights added in. So our table lamp, main light, living room keypad, and our new shade card. The one thing to note with this is that the living room keypad shows up as a device, but controlling it from alarm.com won't do anything. So we could turn it, I mean, it has the option to turn it on and off, but we're remote controlling a remote control. So it's kind of an interesting situation, but it won't actually have any application here. So if somebody's very comfortable with alarm.com, maybe expanding on their existing Z-Wave or replacing their existing Z-Wave, then implementing those push buttons might not be necessary and it might be a saved cost. First off, because it creates a little bit of confusion for them. And second off, because they're so used to using the alarm.com app to control it on their own anyway. So something that I like to do is create a new group for these two lights. So I know they're my Lutron lights. And as we can see, off, on, and we can control that percentage. So we're going to get into scene control in just a second. Just wanted to show how those are grouped together. Jacob asked some really great questions yesterday, so I'd be happy to bring those up in just a second. I just want to show the shade card as well. We can control closed, open, and anywhere in between. So I know it's not going to be the most prominent thing, but when we get into the scene control, you guys heard James say earlier, I'm up in Virginia. These guys are down in Texas. So once we program it all, we'll be able to see how it works from literally anywhere in the world or anywhere in the country for this example. Alarm.com has a handful of prepackaged scenes that come on your system, home, away, sleep, and awake. We're going to go into automation and edit a couple of those. I have lights on and lights off to use for Siri commands. So we'll go to our home scene, disarm the panel, set my living room thermostat. We'll even turn on my own lights too. We'll add the table lamp at 90%. We'll add the main lights at 90%. Nothing with the keypad, and then we can also open that shade 100%. So very simple to create a scene, just as simple as it is from the Lutron app and programming those buttons. For us, the scenes can be controlled from the alarm.com app. I showed this yesterday, and it's going to be kind of hard to see, but you can do with pretty much any iPhone nowadays where you have that 3D touch, so your pressure on the widget of the app if you just hold it down a little bit harder, your scenes actually can pop up without actually clicking into the app. And another thing you can do is scroll past into your widgets and add your scene control right there. So a couple of shortcut ways to get to it from an iPhone. We could do Siri shortcuts for voice commands, Amazon Echo, Google Home. All of those are great ways to control the scene without having to unlock your phone or use a push button or anything like that. So going back here, we're gonna look at Jacob's setup. I know his video is not the largest on the screen, but Jacob, if you mind pointing back towards your setup there, and we're gonna click on our home scene.
Yeah, if you guys can't see it, there's a gallery view on the show.
And our triathlon shade fell over. It worked a little too quickly, I guess. So that was pretty fast, and I think it actually beat the time on which my Z-Wave light turned on in my room. So again, speaking to what Eric said earlier, you know, it works extremely well no matter where because it's communicating via that RF. Sometimes I see a delay of 20 seconds on my bedroom lamp, even, you know, it has nothing to do with really the local network at all or the Z-Wave network, just the processing of that command. So that's an awesome example of how we can integrate Lutron into alarm.com. Again, the scene control is not going to be imported in the near future. Currently, they will import that home and away, dinner time, breakfast time, whatever it is. If we have any questions about this integration, different things we can do with the setup under automation, we can create rules and schedules too. Jacob, James had both mentioned, you know, having something maybe on the visor of your car or, you know, hitting that button as soon as you get home. Well, we can add schedules or even a geofence rule where I don't think I have geofencing set up, but automate my Lutron devices when I cross a geofence. So I don't have it. But that alarm activity that James was talking about, we can say, turn on all my lights when any intruder, since I only have one point of entry, I'll say front door, triggers an alarm. Turn on all selected devices indefinitely. We want to turn these on, open up the shade, and we can do this any time of day or just after sunset because, you know, that lighting might not be as important in the middle of the day. Just a couple of things we could do there, set rules. I don't have a geo device set up, but that's another really great one where you can integrate when you cross thresholds up to, or I guess the minimum threshold is a mile away from any given point. Whether you're leaving home, coming to home, going to work, or leaving work, you can have that trigger a scene or an automation, not just for your Lutron devices, but for your security panel as well. So there's a lot of different options we have here. And you can, of course, add as many scenes for as few devices as you want. If I just wanted something to control my shades, I can make that a scene and say, this is my shade scene. Oops. And just like that, we got a new scene. So that's as simple as the integration gets with alarm.com. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to reach out to any of us. But I'll pass it back to James to wrap things up.
Hey, we do have a question in the chat also for the Lutron guys. If you set the max brightness to 75, can it be overridden to 100%? Or if you set it at 90, can a end user override that?
Yeah, so like with what Jacob was showing is if you set the scene, he was just saying like if you set the scene at 90%, so if you're using a Pico, it only goes to 90%. And that just, when you run the lighting a little bit off of full, then it prolongs the life of both LEDs and incandescents. So that's just recommended. And it also saves a little bit of energy. Like if it's at 90%, then it's saving 10% of what it would be using if it was at full. You know, is that money at the end of the day where you can say, oh, it's $100, whatever? We can't sit there and say that, but over years, it will add up. You know, it will be something. On the dimmer itself, they can adjust it. There's adjustments right on the dimmer. So yes, they can manually override to 100% in the app and on the dimmer. And I'm guessing on alarm.com, I know they have sliders. So on alarm.com, they could override it that way. It would just be when they press the button on the Pico, it would go to 90% as part of a scene, if you will. So hopefully that answers your question, Nick. And so yeah, there's lots of it's very flexible. Pretty much anything you want to do, you can do it some way or the other. We have one more chat.
No, he was saying, yeah, that answers his question.
Oh,
Cool. Thank you.
yeah, and I mean, obviously on our end, I think it was a good webinar. He's trying to get everybody on the same page. I don't know if we were going to try to see if Wade wanted to wrap it up with any type of maybe just show the kit, what to select kit, what you guys have it running for, or anything like that. What the parts and pieces you would need to make these things work.
Yeah, thanks, James. So this is Eric over here with Wave in Austin again. So I hope everybody is a current dealer with Wave Electronics. If you're not, it's really super easy to get signed up with us. Just go to wave-electronics.com. They'll be on the header page of Become a Dealer. Push the button, quick little survey we'll take, and the local branch manager will give you a shout. So we have 17 locations throughout the country, so there will be a Wave location near you. So going into those kits James was talking about. So starting off, I've got a couple of different options on your Lutron Caseta starter kit. We have excellent deals on those. Starting off, you get a Pico, a Caseta dimmer, and the Pro Bridge. Dealer cost is $125 to $100 retail. And then we also have the Raw 2 Select starter kit. This comes with 2 dimmers, in-wall dimmers, one 4-button Pico. You get the wall bracket adapter, the Pro Bridge, the repeater for that, or bridge, I'm sorry. And then you get 3 of those screwless wall plates as well. Dealer cost is $319, retail $606. So some great margins with these starter kits. It's a great way to get your feet wet, like we talked about before, into Caseta. Also on the alarm.com side, we got lots of alarm.com products as well, from the cameras, the cell units, SBRs, stuff along those lines. And we look forward to meeting and working with all y'all. Thank you so much for all y'all's time.
Okay, cool. And at the end, so I'll wrap it up. I really appreciate all you guys getting on. We're going to post this webinar recording on our Bell McCoy University site, and then I'll share it with the alarm.com folks so they can send it out to their folks, the Wave guys. So yeah, it'll be a nice report piece we can send it. All right, if anybody have anything else, we'll just go ahead and end the webinar and go from there. Y'all have a good day. Be safe out there.
Thanks, James, Jacob, Eric.
Thanks,
James.
Jacob, Eric.
Thank y'all.
Have a great day.
Have a good one.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.